Welcome to Adams Athenaeum. Let's take a look together through the news and records of our times as we try to shed light upon the unvarnished truth. Thanks for coming back today to listen to this episode where we're going to dive through some of CNN's headlines and talk about how factual they really are being with their audience. As I was perusing the headlines from this morning's news companies, I came across from CNN their political op-ed section. And in it I found several titles of articles, a couple of articles I read into, and I just, once again, was stunned by the just blind arrogance of CNN, the lies put forward by CNN, the misinformation, that clickbait title just to grab your attention even though the article has nothing to do with the headline, or the article disproves the headline. So I wanted to bring this to attention for any of you that may watch CNN to get your news from there. I'm sorry, it's not a good place to get your factual news from. I mean, what else can I say? I'm a place for truth. I try to bring you as much truth in the news as I can. I'm not a Facebook fact checker, but I will check the facts as best as I can. Because I can be fact checked, so why not do the same job and fact check actual news companies who are supposed to bring you unopinionated news? Except for here, obviously, the op-ed section. Nothing but opinions here. But let's talk about them a little bit. One of the first articles I found here says, "What's behind the attacks on Dr. Fauci?" And essentially in the article they talk about, they think it's right-wing anti-vaxxers who don't believe in Fauci and just, what else did they say? Just people that were politically misguided against Fauci is what they came to say. And I just found it interesting how little they understand the common or average American and how many of us felt during COVID. No, the reason many people don't like Dr. Fauci, now, I'll give you a few reasons. The first one that comes to my mind is, and forgive me, I'm kind of mixing these two studies up. Essentially, let's all remember that Fauci currently is the head of one of the departments at the NIAID, National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases. And some of these studies that he's carried out, or that he's had his team carry out, his team that he directly runs, there was, again, I'm mixing two studies together. I'm going to try and remember them and separate them as best I can. But essentially there was two different dog studies. One, they had some type of fly eat the dog alive to see how long it would take, essentially. And there was another study where they removed the vocal boxes of beagles, I want to say it was. Removed the vocal boxes from these dogs, that way they couldn't scream or bark or cry in pain. That way it was easier for the researchers to do this inhumane treatment, where again, some type of fly was placed on the dog's head until it was eaten alive. This time it wasn't allowed to scream, because that's too traumatizing for the people researching it. Or maybe it's because Dr. Fauci also, through his department and his funding and his type of research at the Wuhan Institute, his departments, through his funding, essentially helped to release the COVID-19 vaccine upon the world. He knew about it beforehand. He knew that it was becoming a global issue, and he tried to cover it up. And then when it started to make rounds in America, he tried to say that, oh, maybe, we don't need to wear masks. No, I don't think it would be very effective. And then a couple weeks later, oh yeah, wear masks. And then like a month later, why not double mask, triple mask? Yeah, why not? It's because like every time we turn on the TV, Fauci flip-flopped. He's got a different opinion from what he had last week. The scientific data that he stands for, that he espouses, changed from what he said last week and doesn't actually hold up to the data we see. So yeah, he's just, in my opinion, he's a propagandist. He did nothing more than, he was nothing more, in my opinion, than a bureaucrat who helped to push his drug company's experiments. And America paid the consequence. The world paid the consequences for it. Now again, as I was scrolling through the the headlines of their op-ed section, one of the titles said, "The demonization of Dr. Fauci is just one sign of this insanity." And they again, the magnitude of the threat posed by anti-vaccine activists. The people that oppose Fauci, the majority of whom, I would argue, are not anti-vaccine. None of us ever have been. We're anti-mandates. You don't get to tell me what to do with my body. It's my choice. Right? That's what you on the left argued. So if that argument works for you, I get to use it too, right? Another article was How to Solve the Problems posed by Representative Lauren Boebert, where in this article they talk about her making anti-Muslim comments about Ilhan Omar during the last mid-November election. And it says, Congress must again contend with a major question: how to handle members who step out of line, offending and potentially endangering the well-being of their colleagues. Really? What about Maxine Waters calling for her Democratic supporters to get in the faces of Republicans, no matter where they are, at the gasoline station, at the diner? You get in their faces and you make them feel unwelcome, she said. Or Ilhan Omar and AOC and who are those? The Squad. What about all of their anti-Semitic comments? You want to talk about her making anti-Muslim comments? No, she talks about the fact that Ilhan Omar is a Somali refugee, we'll call her, who lied to get into the country. Her first action to get into the country that she loves so much, even though she talks about how hateful America is, she lied to get here. She married her brother. God only knows if they had sex with each other. How many ways did they defile and disgrace our country? And yet she represents us. And yet they have an issue with Lauren Boebert calling that out. Lauren Boebert did a good thing. We should ask why people who are on the left get a pass for the same thing you accuse Republicans of every single time. Let's keep going. As I scrolled down, another one of the headlines reads, "The attacks on the 2024 election are already underway." You're right. Joe Biden has already called half the political voting base semi-fascists or fascists or ultra-MAGA. Joe Biden and others, mainstream media news sources have already begun to say, you can't trust the election outcomes if Republicans win. If Republicans win, it can't have been a free, fair election. We have to close these voting loopholes that Republicans want to undermine. The left is talking about this. The left is projecting what they are doing. The left is telling you what they are doing. And they just try to throw it on the name of Republicans, hoping that you, the viewer, would be too stupid to look into the actual article, to look into the meat of the information. They would assume that you're going to be too lazy to act, too lazy and too unintelligent to be able to understand what you're reading, or to go out and look up if the information's correct. They just assume that you come to them for the truth, and that you assume they provide you the truth. Well, here I am, disproving them, as is very easy to do. Let's keep going. Now this one really pissed me off, because this article is ages old. This is from months ago, and yet it's on like the front headlines of their opinion pages, so you would think it's recent news. And it's got a picture here of Border Patrol seemingly whipping Haitian migrants, right? And the title is "The Border Patrol's Outrageous Treatment of Migrants." Talking about the White House will be hard-pressed to explain or defend horrifying images of Border Patrol officials appearing to chase and confront asylum seekers largely from Haiti, whose only offense was to seek refuge in America after fleeing a country from political violence and natural disasters. Alright, well, it's been a while since the truth of this came out, so again, CNN, thanks for trying to hide your story. Thanks for trying to hide the truth by presenting it as modern, recent events when this story is months old. Let's see here. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's go to KXAN.com. This is the local news station, or at least one of them locally, who reported the story. And this story was first posted September 24th, 2021. Almost a year ago. Do you think maybe they left this up there or brought it back to the forefront to try and help interfere or sway people's minds for the upcoming election season? Because let's read what the story is really about here, right? Says, photographer behind controversial migrant photos claims agents weren't whipping anyone. This from the photographer's own mouth, the guy who was taking the pictures and videos of this event. We're going to read a little bit from KXAN.com. El Paso, Texas. The photographer behind now famous images depicting Border Patrol agents on horseback appearing to chase migrants with whips says things are not exactly what they seem when it comes to his photos. The photographs, which were taken Sunday, appear to show agents on horses with whips in hand. The photo caused outrage, as they appear to show Border Patrol agents whipping migrants from certain angles. But photographer Paul Ratji, sorry if I mispronounced your name, said he and his colleagues never saw agents whipping anyone. Some of the Haitian men started running, trying to go around the horses, Ratji said. Ratji is a photographer based in Las Cruces and has been in Del Rio since Friday. He said he took the photographs from the Mexican side. I've never seen them whip anyone, Ratji said. He was swinging it, but it can be misconstrued when you're looking at the picture. And the reason that the Border Patrol officials were there in the first place is because there was a huge encampment of thousands of people under a bridge trying to migrate here. They had to clear them out for safety reasons. The waters, I don't know if any of you know about the dangerous floods or like in the arroyos down south. Flash flooding occurs and is extremely dangerous. You may see rain clouds 50 miles away and not get a drop, and you may be hiding out under a bridge. And then 5 hours later, 10, 15, 20 feet of muddy, just debris-filled, mucky water comes swarming your way. And many people get drowned like that. Many animals get drowned like that. So, what can we take from this? I would say that we should all take from this that not everywhere is going to give you straight, water to the mouth, spoon to the mouth truth, right? No matter where you get your news from, there's probably going to be some kind of bias to it, to one degree or another. I mean, that's humans, right? We're not perfect. However, journalism should be more about bringing you the facts and letting you decide your opinion for yourself. Now, people like me on YouTube, we try our best to bring you the facts of the story, to research an article using as many sources as we can, and bring you the truth. And many times we insert our opinions similar to radio talk show hosts. Why? Well, in my opinion, it's probably to help grow your audience, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. But what should we do about this? Am I here to blame solely CNN and say that they lie about everything they post? No. There was a lot of fear-mongering on their page. Almost every other article was about COVID-19 and Omicron variants are here to kill us. It's a little late for that, bud. I don't think anyone's falling for that anymore. What we should take from this is that we must take it upon ourselves to know the truth, to understand the truth, and to find the truth. I can only go so far in bringing you the truth. I can only go so far in finding the actual truth. Sometimes I can't even find the full truth, and I don't bring you a story because of that. What we need to do is to be able to talk and have open discussions freely about any content, with anybody, anytime, anywhere, any place. We must be able to provide the correct sources, documentation, data, and studies without it being shadow banned or fact-checked on social media sites, right? We need to have free and open discussion that is available to be fact-checked, but isn't banned because you got something wrong once out of 5,000 videos, more than 10,000 hours of content. You know what I mean? I think we're allowed to get things wrong from time to time. But we shouldn't be allowed to have almost an entire page of opinions that have been proven wrong. Like, I get it, it's your opinion, but it's wrong. It's been proven to be wrong. The story that you believe in is wrong. The facts that you think you know are wrong. You don't have the truth. So when you try to argue me about the facts of a story or about how it made you feel, you're arguing about things that didn't even happen, that aren't even true. I brought you these sources today from a left-wing site because I'm more right-wing. I like to try to stay more down the middle, but I mean, my at-heart, true deep-down policy lines are generally a little more to the right. But I stand in the middle and say that leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone to live your life. Anyway, that's where I leave today's episode. I appreciate you coming back and listening to just the truth about CNN and how they're not telling you the truth. If you think this message needs to be shared, then please subscribe to my channel so that way you don't miss any videos, and then you can share this video with your friends. That way they can hear the message too. Don't forget to like this video so we can beat the algorithm and get this message out there. Thanks for coming back, and I'll see you all next time.